Hello. In this tutorial, I would like to demonstrate how to correctly prepare, import, and use transparent textures in Unity 3D. Throughout this tutorial, I am going to be using two pieces of software, Unity 4.1 and Adobe Photoshop CS6. Before we can begin, we need to take care of one thing first. We need to download an alpha utility package which contains necessary Photoshop actions for exporting alpha textures to Unity. This package is located on Unity documentation webpage. We can access such page by going to Google and searching for alpha textures in Unity. This should be the first result which pops up, as we can see here. Now click on this result. After clicking the link, we are taken to Unity documentation page. We can find necessary actions we need to download and apply right here. Just click on alphautility.atn.zip link. Download it somewhere in your computer, unzip it, and install the action. Once you are done installing actions, we need to come back to Photoshop so we could begin working with our image. Okay, I am going to assume that you have installed the package which we need already, so we can begin our work with this image. As you can see here, I have a sample image right here which has a transparent background already imported in Photoshop. What we need to do now is to make sure that our original image, which we can see right here, doesn't get damaged as we work on it. In order to prevent that, we need to duplicate this image, or in Photoshop terms, we need to duplicate the layer this image resides on. We can do it quite simply by going to Layers panel, right here, right-clicking the cartoon character layer, and then selecting Duplicate Layer from the context menu. Now we're just going to accept all these defaults and click OK. Now that we have a copy of our layer, we can begin defringing it. We can defringe the layer by navigating to Layer, selecting Matting, and the Fringe option. Just make sure that your copy layer is selected. Again, accept the defaults which are already provided on the screen, and click OK. By defringing this image, we make sure that the background pixels, even though they are transparent, will not interfere with our image. Thus, we will prevent any possible artifacts which may happen around the edges of this image. Now that we have defringed the layer, we can begin using the actions we downloaded from Unity documentation page. We can access Actions panel by navigating to Window and then selecting Actions. Click on that. As you can see here, Actions dialog pops up. All we need to do now is to navigate to Alpha Utility Actions folder. In this tutorial, we are going to be using Dilate action. Now again, make sure that your duplicated layer is selected and click on Play Selection option to apply the action onto the selected layer. As you can see here, after we apply the action, another copy has been created. Let's apply the same action one more time. And yet again, another copy has been created. All we need to do now is to combine these layers. We can do that by selecting each one of them by holding Ctrl key and left-clicking on each and one of them. After that's done, we need to right-click the selection and select Merge Layers. Now all of these layers are merged into one single layer. In order to see the change which this action has done, by clicking Layer Visibility icon right here, we can see what kind of changes these actions have made to our layers. So let's do that a couple of times. And you can already see that the surrounding outline of our image has been made much thicker compared to the original. This is the original image, and this is the image after actions have been applied to it. We can move this actions window out of the way. What we need to do now is to create alpha channel for this image. Before we can do that, we need to select the layer where our original image resides. In my case, it's cartoon character layer. Let's do that by left clicking on this layer. And what we need to do now is to select the outline of the image in order to create an effective alpha channel. We can do that by holding Ctrl key and left clicking on the layer thumbnail. As you can see, a selection has been made around the image, right around its borders. What we need to do now is to navigate to Channels tab, make sure that your original layer with your original image is selected, navigate to Channels, and click on Make Alpha Channel button. In my case, it's Save Selection as Channel. After clicking this button, a new channel pops up, which is called Alpha 1. As you can see from the thumbnail preview, we have this black background color surrounding our image. From the thumbnail preview icon, we can already see that the alpha channel has been successfully created. What we need to do now is to navigate back to Layers tab and deselect everything by holding Ctrl and pushing down D key. Now we need to select our background layer and fill it with the exact same color as our borders around the image. In my case, the border around the image is completely black, as we can see here by toggling it. So make sure that the primary color selected is black. Then select Background Layer and click on Paint Bucket tool. Now that we have our Paint Bucket tool selected, just click on the image and you can immediately see the change. The entire background has been made pitch black. All we need to do now is to save this image as a PSD file and import into Unity. Okay, now make sure that you have Unity up and running. And what we need to do now is to import our texture into Unity. Importing textures is actually really easy thing to do in Unity. All you need to do is to navigate where you have saved your PSD file and then simply click, hold, and drag and drop the image onto the Assets folder. In order to demonstrate the transparency of this picture, we can create a new game object, then select Create Other and select Plane Object. Let's rotate it so we can see it better, like so. All we need to do now is to apply our texture to this plane. We can do that again by clicking on it, holding and dragging and dropping the texture onto the plane. Again, let's rotate it so we can see it a little bit better. You may notice that the background color is still completely black, but don't be alarmed, we will be changing this in a minute. After we applied our texture onto the plane, a new folder called Materials has been created. Double-click on that folder, and it opens up a new material image file right here. By selecting this file, we open up a new dialog under Inspector tab. And as you can see here, we have our image name. In my case, it's called Transparent Image. We have a new dialog showing different shader types we can apply to this material. In order to eliminate the black background surrounding our image, we need to select Unlit and then transparent cutout shader. The black surrounding area around the image has been completely removed. We can zoom in a little bit just to inspect this change. As you can see, it looks quite good. As you can see, there are no artifacts surrounding the image whatsoever. Again, the surrounding area is completely gone, and this transparent image displays correctly in Unity 3D with no artifacts surrounding it whatsoever. And this is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and will make use of it. Thank you.